What's up, everybody? My name is Patrick, but my friends call me Pat, and welcome back to another video. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm here in my Buffalo Bills lighting setup, which kind of makes me look a little, like, evil. Like, it's not subtle. I didn't have the best Sunday. The Buffalo Bills suffered a heartbreaking playoff loss in what is seemingly one of a never-ending chain of the phrase heartbreaking playoff losses as they lose to the Kansas City Chiefs after, well, you probably know what happened.
다시 가야 되는 거리입니다. 타일러 베스. 오른쪽으로 벗어났어요.
This is nothing new. It predates me, but this is the same franchise that has been to 4 Super Bowls and has won none of them, including one where they would have won if they had just made a 47-yard field goal.
No good. Wide right.
They lost by 1 point. I mean, it's tough. Throughout my entire lifetime, the Bills have either been hopeless or, since they got Josh Allen in 2018, they've made the playoffs the past 5 years and have not had any really long-lasting success, have not been able to make it to the Super Bowl. But this video is not going to be talking about the specifics of the game or the Kansas City Chiefs or Taylor Swift, who's in the other corner of my room. She's watching. In this video, I want to ask why. I want to ask why. Why do I care? Why do I care about any of this? Why does anybody care? Now, I know if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you're watching me, salty Buffalo Bills fan, even though the Chiefs have lost 3 times to the Bills in the regular season. They have won all 3 times in the playoffs, which is when it matters. And you're probably thinking, wow, this man is broken. This man has been broken by the Buffalo Bills and by Patrick Mahomes' epic play. And you know what? You want to laugh at me? Go right ahead. Go and laugh. You're not going to be the first person. You're not going to be the last, all right? It's my life as a comedian and as a person whose life's naturally a joke. But in this video, I do want to examine some things about sports, about the Bills, and about why we tune in week after week. So I want to start with a very basic question. Why do we watch sports to begin with? And I think for a lot of us, it starts with playing sports as kids. You know, we play football, we play baseball, we play soccer, we want to watch the best of the best. So we can emulate them, so we can maybe learn things, or just so maybe we can be entertained and inspired. Can't personally relate. I played tennis. That was the gay sport where I grew up. The baseball players were very mean to me. They were very homophobic. But then when you grow up, when a lot of sports fans are over the age of 18, they're not kids, very few people actually play sports. In a survey, only 10% of Americans have played basketball in the past year, and it's even less for baseball at 5%, and football/hockey, any contact sport, is at 4%. Very, very few people who watch sports are at the point where they play sports. At some point, for most people, we go off the field, onto the couch. So why do we do it? Is it nostalgia? Is it trying to feel young again? Is it because these are the teams that we've grown up watching? About 40% of all fans say that the team they pick was purely decided when they were a kid, but that still leaves 60% of people who change their affiliations, who might move, pick different sports teams, maybe are not feeling that nostalgia quite as much as that 40%. So it's not just nostalgia. It's something beyond that. Then in some cases, to me, it feels like a habit, like a routine, an addiction if you really want to classify it so negatively. And in the case of the Buffalo Bills, decreasing my lifespan with every game I watch, I think addiction's a fair description. But I still think we haven't got to the root of it, because football is truly different from almost every other form of entertainment in America. Baseball to a lesser extent, but we'll focus on football. Football is the last truly mass form of entertainment in America that's left. But if you look at the 100 most viewed broadcasts of an entire year, it's the Super Bowl at the top. It's maybe the Oscars can crack the top 100 if they're lucky, but it is mostly a bunch of footballs, because football is the last thing that a ton of people in America truly watch together. Just to give you a frame of reference, football games watched by 15 to 30 million people, similar to what Seinfeld was averaging every week, also a weekly experience, at its peak getting anywhere from 20 to 30 million viewers every episode. To find a comparison now for the TV shows that we watch, it's procedurals like Law and Order, and they're getting 2 to 3 million viewers every episode. So about 10% of what the most popular shows were getting back in the day. People in America are not watching the same things. We're not having those shared same cultural experiences. And this is also due to a decrease in religion, which, you know, as a gay person, I'm not really going to be too sad about that one. But it's also coming as people are reporting they're even more lonely than they have been in the past 20 years. People are making fewer friends. We're living increasingly isolated lives. It's honestly really depressing if you look at the statistics, which I had to do for the video. But then we get to football. It's really one of the last ways that we still have to connect to each other in an innate way. I mean, let's face it, patriotism, that's canceled. Unless you're a New England patriotism fan, right? Pun, right? Yeah, I came to Boston from upstate New York, not really having a lot of pride where I grew up. I grew up on a farm, and my neighbors were proudly flying the Confederate flag, which really now in retrospect makes me want to take them by the collar, give them a big old slap, and remind them which side of the fucking Civil War New York State was on, but I digress. But as you get older and outside of really like the big social environments that you grow up in middle school, high school, college, you enter the world, you realize you really do miss that sense of community and that sense of belonging. Not that I really got much of that in middle school. Again, I was relentlessly bullied for being a homo, but you understand the greater point I'm trying to make. And for a lot of people who are not religious and are trying to find something greater than themselves, there is the Buffalo Bills or any sports team. Oh my gosh. Imagine Jesus. Jesus has to compete with Josh Allen every Sunday, and every Sunday I think he's going to lose, at least in Buffalo, New York. But obviously I moved from where I grew up and came to Boston, which is one of the great sports cities of America. But what does it mean to be a sports city? I think to me it means having a sense of loyalty, a sense of local pride, a sense of hope, and commitment to the teams that are representing your city where you live and everyone in that city in the context of professional sports. But I think to some extent it also requires some sense of success. You hear some of the greatest sports cities in America, New York, Philadelphia, Boston. These are all cities that have had some level of success at some point with their professional teams. Then you get to Boston, where the New England Patriots tied the overall record for championships in a 20-year dynasty with the greatest football player to ever play, and the Red Sox have won 4 times in the past 20 years, one of them being as recently as 2018. Now, I know what you're thinking. That came with a pretty big drought after they traded Babe Ruth. Curse of the Bambino got them soaked for 80 years. But in the interim period, they got to witness one of the most dominant hockey teams in the Bruins, as well as the most dominant team in the NBA in the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are the Yankees of the NBA. People don't admit that, but many people are saying that. You know, don't shoot the messenger on that one. At its core, underpinning this, you've got a great fandom, both success and failure, but at the root is hope to get more success than more failure. But what if you never get that ultimate success? The NFL has 32 teams, of which only 14 of them are going to make the playoffs in any given season, and of those 14 teams, only one of them is actually going to end up winning the Super Bowl, 1 out of 32 total teams, leaving 31 teams and their fans disappointed in some varying capacity. At the end of the day, there's only one trophy. But is that the right mentality? 12 teams have literally never even won once. Not won one single Super Bowl, including the Bills, obviously. So what does success mean for those teams? Teams who've had fans who have lived, died, continue to live without ever seeing their team win a championship. Only one team can win the Super Bowl, and hope, for as much or as little as we all have of it, is pretty irrelevant compared to talent, luck, and entropy, and a defense that is almost all second-string players because of several injuries who are unable to stop Patrick Mahomes driving down the field. So why do we have hope, then, if hope doesn't help? I don't really know. The Bills have been either mediocre or tragic my entire life, and basically since the NFL was founded. Similar things could be said, I'm sure, about the other 11 teams that have never won a Super Bowl, but there's very little reason for me to think things will ever change. Until they do. Why we watch football, in my opinion, is because we know fundamentally, deep down, that it is wrong to approach every season with the attitude that if you don't win the Super Bowl, everything was a waste of time, and everything was for nothing. I'm realizing this is coming off as a little defeatist, but bear with me, we've got a positive message. If you make it to the final 8 in the playoffs, you've beaten 26 teams already. You've already had better seasons than a lot of other teams. Some people have not even gotten to watch their teams in the playoffs. This is not me apologizing for failure, but at the end of the day, victories are nice, but how much does a victory actually affect your day-to-day? What matters in any given football season is the memories you're creating, the time you're spending with other people, and the bond, the collective bond that you're sharing with a group of people, with a community, because you like the sports team. Yes, it's important to win it all at the end of the year, right? But I think we forget how quickly victories are forgotten, quickly surpassed by miseries of the present. The New England Patriot fan base just saw a 20-year run by the greatest football player of all time, tying the record of total Super Bowl wins. And you know the only thing that everyone here is concerned about? They're concerned about how awful Mac Jones is, how great Bailey Zappi is, and then how awful Bailey Zappi is. It's not about Brady and remembering those memories. It's all about what have you done for me lately. Because in 20 years, regardless of what happens with Patrick Mahomes' career and with Josh Allen's career, although I hope he does win one Super Bowl, we're going to be watching players who are literally in kindergarten right now, who no one knows anything about right now. And that's all people are going to care about and get invested in. Who's winning, who's losing now. So I think it's important to really just take a second and realize why we watch sports is because of the connections we form with other people who root for the teams that we root for ourselves, who find in these teams reasons to find pride about their upbringing and where they live, and the shared social memories we're creating with these experiences, regardless of the outcome. This isn't me trying to apologize for defeat. This is me being realistic in that I have no control over what happens on that football field, and neither do you, unless you're watching and you're an actively salaried player in the NFL, in which case that's pretty cool. You should comment something. I'll give it a like so it says liked by the creator. Only one team is going to win it all at the end, and it probably won't be you. But as long as Josh Allen is alive, and he is, I have some sense of hope. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like and comment. And if you really liked it, please give it a subscription. The worst thing you can always do is unsubscribe, obviously. I do a lot of covering of the news, comedy videos, reactions, reviews, all that fun stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching, and have a great day.